screen. Awesome. Can you guys see my screen okay? Yeah? Okay. Great. Thank you for the thumbs up. Super helpful. All right. So let's just start with a few minutes to arrive together. So we'll start with a practice. And maybe just taking a moment to find our seat, closing our eyes or gently looking down in front of us. And taking in a few deep breaths. Breathing in. Feeling our in-breath. And breathing out. Feeling the fullness of our exhale. And as we arrive in this moment and in this call, maybe bringing to mind what made you say yes to joining this call this morning. What is it about loving kindness practice that made you want to say yes? And maybe bringing to mind somebody on this call that you would like to share some loving kindness with. And bringing to mind one person that you know, or maybe you don't know yet. Maybe sharing some well wishes for that person. And then continuing to follow the breath, maybe on the next breath, thinking about all of the beautiful, wonderful people on this call together, our beautiful community of SIY teachers. Maybe bringing a little bit of loving kindness practice, some well wishes to everyone on this call. Maybe extending it out just a little bit further to the broader network, be friends, family, loved ones, the broader silly community, and just the broader world at large. Offering some loving kindness to those beyond this call. And last but not least, don't forget yourself. Maybe putting a hand on your heart or just bringing yourself to mind. You're bringing a picture of you to mind, a time when you were happy and you were well. And offering yourself the same loving kindness that you would offer to others. May I be happy. May I be well. And when you're ready, you can just take one more breath in together. And one more exhale. And with the sound of the bell, just coming back. Thank you, friends. Thank you. So good to be with all of you and see so many of your faces. So welcome to our call around hosting a practice kindness event. And I'm going to walk us through just a little bit of our agenda, and then we'll have lots and lots of space for Q&A and time to connect and share with one another and brainstorm ideas as well. So I'm going to share a little bit about why this work, a little bit of the overview of the Practice Kindness campaign, and why we are saying yes to practicing kindness, and what it looks like to host a Practice Kindness event. Oh, I love there's like cats on the screen. Oh, it's so sweet. I'm staying focused and I'm like, oh, I love animals, sorry. And then how to create and spread the word in terms of hosting an event as well. And then we'll open it up for Q&A also. So why this work? As we thought about, we started to envision the Practice Kindness campaign back in the spring, and what came to mind was really creating a space for us to all come together as a community to be able to practice kindness together, and to be able to do three things. So one, spreading kindness and compassion, and just the pure like joy of what it feels like to give from that place, and to be able to give compassion and kindness and be able to spread that as widely as possible. The second was to honor our mission. So as you know, in the last year at Silly, we've crafted a new vision and mission, which is to be a global community, making mindfulness and emotional intelligence practical and accessible. And together we are working towards a more peaceful world in which all people feel connected and can act with compassion. And to bring that mission to life, how the campaign really supports that is in making these tools and practices practical and accessible. So we have the 2-day program, which is wonderful. And this is an entry point for a lot of people to be able to get a taste of what the SIY program is, which leads to the third one, which is just, it's a sampling of the SIY program. So as teachers, you're also able to offer just a little bit to your broader community, and hopefully that will help to kind of spread interest and also invite people to join us for the longer 2-day program too. So there's a little bit of the why. I think in its truest form, it has kind of like altruistic roots of spreading compassion and kindness and all of that. And then the other two of bringing the mission and vision to life, it just naturally overlaps. And sharing the SIY program, it's just a taste of the SIY program to be able to spread broader. So that's a little bit about that. So why kindness? So there's a bunch of research out there, and it's starting to, kindness I feel like is starting to really grow, just like other parts of mindfulness practice. We're seeing more and more research for kindness as well, and specifically loving kindness. There's starting to be more and more research done. So what we're seeing is that it's good for your health. So when we do acts of generosity, acts of service, acts of practicing kindness, oxytocin is released in our brain, and we get what's called like a helper's high. So we're able to kind of it's good for our brains. And there's also more research coming out that it's actually really good for our hearts as well, and can share more about that too. It helps us to bridge divides. So as we know, like now more than ever, we're seeing more separation, both from technology perspective of people being on their phones and being disconnected, to politically, to kind of identity. Like there's so many different separations and divides that we're seeing. And yet there's some research out there that says that 99.9% of our DNA is actually the same as humans. And so there's some, and we also know from the research, and as teachers, we know that we're also hardwired for connection. And so we see practicing kindness and loving kindness as a way to bridge those divides and a way to be able to see one another. It also makes us better leaders, and we know that from the SIY program too. And there's also some research that's been done out there around appreciation, and just the act of appreciation and appreciating one another is actually what a lot of employees are seeking from their managers, and what makes managers so great. So there's some research out there on that too. And then it's contagious, which is really fun. Like when we start to practice kindness, it has this beautiful ripple effect where it can spread. I was just reading yesterday that there was this study where they had this 28-year-old went into a hospital and donated his kidney just as a practice. And I'm seeing like a head nod. And because of him donating his kidney, he inspired 10 other people to donate their kidneys. So 10 people received new kidneys as a result of this one person doing this act of kindness. So it's not to say like we have to donate our kidneys and do things like big and grandiose in that way, but just simple acts of kindness have the power and the potential to really make someone's day, and to really create that sense of loving kindness and compassion. So, a little bit about the campaign. So let me go back here. There we go. So it's a global movement that we're hoping to start. And this year is really kind of a testing ground for us at Silly. We want to try with our core community. So with you as teachers, with teachers in training, with our Engage alumni, really kind of practice together on World Kindness Day and be able to spread as much as possible. And then we'll see where it goes. But we're doing this kind of as a practice for this year in hopes of continuing to spread as we go into the future. And it's starting to create a little bit of buzz, which is exciting, in different organizations. And so I'll share more about that later, but some good stuff happening. And why are we doing it? I think we talked about this before, but it's really connected to our mission and our vision of offering kindness and compassion, making these tools practical and accessible to all. And when we are able to see similarities with other people, we're able to be of service, and that deepens our connection to others also. So we want to create an intentional pause on World Kindness Day to be able to practice together. All right, so hosting a practice kindness event, and I'm gonna keep sharing, but I'm feeling this urge to like really open up and get everyone connecting and talking. So I'm gonna move a little bit more quickly through this. So hosting a practice kindness event, there are two different options for hosting. One is just option A, and this is all in the host toolkit as well. But option A, which is to host a live stream event. So on November 13th at 9 a.m. Pacific, we're going to do a live stream practice kindness event with Rich and Mirabai Bush, who just joined the Silly board and is a long-term contemplative and really, really fantastic teacher. And so Rich will kick it off, and he will welcome everyone, kind of share a little bit about why we're doing this work. We're also looking to have someone join us to be able to speak to the neuroscience of kindness and compassion. So really bringing the Silly kind of feel to it of what is the neuroscience behind this work. And then we'll have Mirabai Bush lead us in a practice of loving kindness for the live stream event as well. And then after that, there'll be some opportunity for application. And then where do we go from here in terms of spreading that loving kindness and that generosity and all of that. So that's the live stream event. It'll be an hour long on November 13th at 9 a.m. And you can just log into the live stream event if you'd like, or invite, if you're on this call, you're probably wanting to host. So you can also invite people to come in and watch the live stream together and to have a discussion afterwards, which can be really fun and really simple. So that's one option. Another option is to host your own practice kindness event with friends, colleagues, potential clients, and we've got a whole set of resources for that as well. So as I mentioned, we've got the option A, which is the live stream event, 60 minutes with Rich and Mirabai. And then the option B, which is to facilitate your own loving kindness event. And this is just kind of a general overview of what to expect, but it's basically an arrival practice. So coming together, sitting, landing, arriving together, doing a mindful listening exercise. So getting people to practice right away, just as we do in the 2-day program. There's something about that, having people share and connect right away that builds the energy and the buzz and the aliveness in the room, and is able to allow people to drop in even deeper from a psychological safety perspective. So some sort of mindful listening exercise, sharing the science of kindness. And this will be a short video that will be provided from Silly. So the good news for you as hosts is you don't have to learn all of the neuroscience of kindness and compassion before November 13th to try and, present something new. You'll have a video which will be given to you that you can play, and then you can kind of build off of that. So just to say, if that brings any reassurance, I know it would for me. And then a loving kindness practice as well. So we'll have a script for you that we'll provide, and it'll be really similar to what's in the 2-day program. So you're all well versed and ready and prepared to lead this practice. So we'll provide a script for you that'll be about 10 minutes of length. And then we'll do a journaling exercise afterwards. So giving people a little bit of space to then connect and to process, what was it like to do loving kindness practice? This might be new for some people, and really to be able to kind of go into that deeper. And then some group discussion, getting the engagement of the group and feeling the connection of all of the people in the room. And then offering a micro practice as well. So, and then ways to stay engaged. And one of the ways that we're asking folks to stay engaged is to make a pledge of kindness after the event too. So we can share more about that. But going back to the kidney example, kindness is really great. And if we don't practice it, it's kind of just sits on the table. So how do we bring it forward and practice together? So that's a little bit of what it means to host and what the agenda looks like for hosting a practice kindness event. And it's geared for 60 minutes in length. And we leave it up to you in terms of what time you want to do it. You can do it on November 13th, the actual World Kindness Day. Or if schedule doesn't work for you to be able to do it on World Kindness Day, you can also do it before or after. Sometime kind of in honor around that is also great too. So it's really up to you. I think I'm going to pause here before moving forward and just see if there's any questions so far about hosting an event. I know you all have the host toolkit, but I wanted to just open it up and see what questions are here. So feel free to unmute yourself. It's a small enough group that we can, just jump in. Yeah, Martha.
So I will be upfront and say I've not yet opened my toolkit, my host toolkit. But I was wondering if in there you had any templates for outreach on this.
Good question. Yeah, so totally great. There's a bit of information in there around how to do email outreach. So there's a couple templates in there, and then some social media posts as well. So yeah.
That's what I was looking for. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah. What other questions? Yeah.
One more question, I guess. Will you be offering the slides if people ask for the slide? Will the presentation be open source afterwards?
Good question. Yeah. I hadn't thought about that, but I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I think we should open it up so yeah, people can have access to the resources, to the practice. Yeah, let's do it. That sounds good. Thank you. Yeah, Thomas.
Do you think it's more appropriate to host it in person, or is it also a good thing to to set up an online event?
Good question. Yeah. Let me feel into that one for a moment. Good question. I think there's something you certainly could do it online. I think it's easy. It could be easy to do online as well. And I think there's something really special about doing it in person too. So we'll leave it up to you if timing wise or space wise you're not able to pull together a group to be in person, which there's also kind of some limited time there as well. Then doing it online is also a great practice. So that's wonderful. And if you can do it in person, I think there's also something really special about people being able to practice one-on-one together. And the loving kindness practice, kind of learning to see one another, could be a bit challenging just technology-wise online. You'd have to have kind of, I think, some breakout groups, which could be challenging. So I think a slight preference towards in-person, but if you aren't able to make it work with in-person, then online can also work too.
So the loving kindness practice will be like in the 2-day program, sitting in front of each other, watching each other sometimes.
Yeah, I think so. We are still fleshing it out. We're kind of, as a design team, working on it now. We want it to be similar enough to the SIY 2-day program that it has the same kind of feel and flavor, but also something a little bit different. So my sense is that it'll probably have some partner exercise as well.
And one last question: would you like to receive feedback if we set up practices? So yeah.
Absolutely, yes. That's a great. Thank you for saying that. I think we can create an evaluation form as well, and then also feedback. Yeah, from you, like what's working, what's not working. How can we improve and shape and grow this as a practice? And maybe this is something that we want to offer beyond World Kindness Day too. So yeah, please, feedback would be great. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi. Will there be a place where maybe all the events could be listed in one place? So then we can all be sharing that. So even if you can't be here, but if you're in London or if you're there, this is where you could do it.
I love this idea. This is, oh my gosh, I'm feeling such gratitude and appreciation for this beautiful community. This is so wonderful. So yes, I would say that I'm loving this idea. I was picturing this like map of different loving kindness events. Yeah. Like tracking. So yeah, I'm loving this idea. I'm curious, if we can take this kind of offline maybe, but if there's anyone that has any resources for how to create something like that, or any suggestions for how we might create that together as a community, I think that would be great. We have a very small kind of marketing practice kindness team, and so I don't know that we have the bandwidth to create something, and I think we should as a community to create something if there's energy and buzz for it. So maybe together we can come up with something.
I just wanted to touch on what Thomas mentioned, because I think it's interesting seeing that you're in the midst of fleshing this out still as a design team. If potentially you could factor in that some of us might want to host this as a Zoom call. I think there's something around this being a worldwide initiative that kind of lends itself naturally to, if we are indeed engaged with groups across the globe, that we could actually just host it. So for instance, in terms of the way you run the meditation. Maybe you could, I don't know if it's, if you'd have enough time, but maybe think about ways whereby we'd be able to do it slightly differently if indeed we were to host it online versus in person potentially. So just a thought.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's, I'm thinking, I know like Zoom has the capacity to be able to do little small breakouts and things like that. So I'm sure there's other ways too. So that's great. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. And Shalini, I feel like you may have had more to share. So I want to go offer back space to you if there's more there.
Oh, thank you for noticing that. Well, I think Martha and I were having this chat conversation. So I think in the least we could create a Google Drive for all the teachers to have where we are hosting. And then based on that, we could create a flyer, a poster that we can all start sharing with the hashtag practice kindness on social media. I mean, in the least.
Oh my goodness.
We could do something like that.
That's amazing. Yes. Oh.
Yeah, and would you like help with creating the poster, or Canva has really nice templates, and but if there's some standardization or something involved, I don't know if you would want to do it, or just something simple, just with all the locations and in teachers and locations or something, and then hashtag practice kindness.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Let's maybe we can huddle, like if there's anybody maybe just by show of hands that's interested on this call and being a part of that mini kind of tiger team, or maybe we can have another name for it, mini map team. But yeah, Shalini, great.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So let's huddle. Maybe we can find some time, the two of us, and we can create. And then if there's anybody else that wants to join in as well. Thank you. Thank you. Thomas.
One thing I would like to share. I was in Lisbon. It's a teacher training, and I used it for practicing a lot of loving kindness by volunteering. And I really had the experience and also got the feedback that's made a huge difference. Using such a event, such a session, to practicing loving kindness, to practicing direction of your mind, to practice open awareness, and especially loving kindness to the participants. It makes a difference. Actively doing it during the practice, during the event.
Thank you for sharing.
I have a question, Avery, if there's time.
Yes.
So in the, if there's guidance, I think one of the potential pitfalls, if this isn't presented skillfully, is that it could be viewed as just another marketing scheme. And are we if you get cynical people like, oh, there are those people, there's that big company again that's really just trying to market its mindfulness products, capitalizing on World Kindness Day. So I don't know if there's been any conversation around that, but I know it's something that I personally am sensitive to, and would appreciate any guidance on that.
Yeah, definitely. I can share, and I also see Shalini, your hand, so I'm going to go to you and then
Yeah, I think one of the things I was thinking of doing, which speaks to what Martha just raised, is that host this event by donation and then collect the donation for a local cause. And so that would be,
That's nice. Yeah. I just thought it would be free, But I like the donation to a cause.
Right. And also because in our case, we're hosting this in the Mill District. It's like we're creating this mindful city template within the city of Amherst. And so it's the whole North Amherst, and we're calling it the hashtag mindful mill. And so we already have a sponsor who's going to, the founder of the Mill District who's sponsoring the food and everything. So it's okay to ask for a donation anyways. And then, but to use that donation for, you know, a local charity is what we were thinking.
Nice.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great question. Great ideas. I'm curious, maybe this is a good time to transition as well. Just as you think about hosting a practice kindness event, are there certain places where you're thinking about hosting in your organizations, within your communities? I'd love to just hear, and I have more, of course, have more slides to share. And I feel like this is where the juice is in connection and community together and sharing. So, so let's just open it up. Where are you planning to share? What ideas do you want to kind of toss around together? Yeah. Love to hear from a couple folks.
I'll go ahead just because it's, I do have a specific idea on this. Because first I was thinking, you know, maybe a corporate setting, but it didn't feel right. And then I remembered that I have some contacts that I've made through my local business association, but they are pastors of a local church. And you know, even they're very aware of the work that I do, and we've always talked about, oh, maybe we can somehow collaborate sometimes and at some time. And I think I think this church would be the perfect, you know, venue for me to reach out to, and then say, hey, you guys can pick a charity. Thank you again, Shalini. I love that. I love that idea, because they really understand the work I'm doing, even though it's very secular. And I think, you know, I'm hoping that, and I'm really glad that if their space is not available on the 13th, that we have flexibility to do it on a different date as well. So that feels like a very aligned contact people and space for this particular event.
Thank you. Yeah.
I've got a couple of things in mind if indeed I get around to them. So I'm in a co-working space, a couple of WeWork places where I'm set up with my own company. And I thought I'd just do like an open invite so people could come sit in, for instance, during lunch break. And then concretely, I'm working through my own company with leaders in different locations, which is also why I wanted to potentially also just to host a Zoom session so people could dial in. And kind of get people together around this as well. So I was contemplating doing like some online and then a couple maybe in person on that particular day myself. So
that's great. And there's a person coming to mind. Miru from Facebook is also looking to do kind of a global with different different groups around the world as well, Meta. So it's somebody that may be helpful to connect with just in terms of brainstorming ideas too.
Yeah. Hi, this is Mira. Sorry, I was on mute.
I didn't hear what you were saying because I'm operating a pair of headphones that are wrong for speaking as well. So unmute myself, but I have to plug back in to hear the first bit that you said. But maybe I'll ping you afterwards, Avery. So thank you.
Yes, Avery, if I may add to what you just said.
Yes.
Yes, I'm thinking about doing that at Facebook too. And we have different mindfulness groups in different offices. So I'm trying to connect with them, and then and they're in different time zones as well. So I think it'd be really cool to operate in different offices in different time zones on the same day. And I think, yeah, so that's the current plan now, and we plan to do it in person, not as in online, in different offices. So yeah, I'm happy to chat more if someone wants to talk about how we plan to do it in the office.
Thank you, Maria.
Yeah, I think I briefly mentioned already, we're doing it in the Mill District. We're doing it at a cafe, which is going to be closed off from 6 to 7:30 for this event. And then we're inviting people who live in the apartments there and marketing to it. So sort of bringing in the community. There's a nonprofit there, the Survival Center. So we're going to be putting flyers and sending private invitations and to all the community that's living around there.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I love the diversity and spread of this project too, just like thinking about it being inside different organizations and spreading to global offices, to bringing together different groups within local communities to be able to connect with one another, and kind of the mindful cities kind of approach. Yeah, to, you know, going to specific organizations and working within specific organizations. I'm really appreciating and loving just the diversity and the spread of how this is reaching so many people.
Just being part of this conversation and brainstorming with everyone is getting my brain firing in so many different ways. So thank you, all of you. I didn't come into this. I mean, I came in with the goal of connection. That's it. I didn't know what else, but this is really helpful. So one thing is that I'm an elected official in my town. And so I'm one of the town councilors, and I might, it just feels like it might be a great way to invite all the counselors as well to make this, because there is a lot of divisiveness even in our own town, our government change, and just overall. So it might be such a nice, beautiful thing that we can invite all, yeah, at that level too. Yeah.
Amazing.
Cool.
Oh, hi, Lori. Good morning. Good to see you, friend. So yeah, anyone else want to share? Thank you, Shalini, I love the like curiosity and the sparks flying and different ideas. And John, I see your hand raised. Yeah.
Yeah, so hi, Avery, great to see everybody. One of the ideas that I had here for, I'm going to host something at the office park where my business is, and invite other companies within the office park, some of whom have had exposure to SIY, but to ask everyone that comes to bring 2 or 3 friends that may not have exposure, and so to increase the number through bring someone that might be curious or you think might be interested.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that in and of itself is just an act of generosity to extend to friends beyond. Beautiful. Thank you.
And I saw just a moment ago, oh, I have no time to join on November 13th because there's an appointment in my schedule. But I saw I lead a mindfulness course at the same time to a team, to an executive board team, and we are starting a few weeks earlier with a one-day search and set yourself, and then afterwards a few weeks of mindfulness courses. So it's really perfect on this day to use this framework, to use your framework to make this this part of the training practice kindness event. It's really great.
Thank you.
Avery, I had one more thought on, I mean, I hope to, my intention is to host the in-person event locally, but I have a couple of people. So for example, the newly appointed dean of my graduate school, who I'd had a conversation with, who was interested in, in the concepts. And this would be an event that, I mean, she's up in Boston, I'm in the DC area, but just sharing Rich's online event, that would just be a super easy thing. I can, it's easy to do outreach and just say, hey, you could put this on at noon and tell the students about it. And, just a good way, again, to give a little taste of what we're about, and we don't even have to be there, and just spreading the word on that in a targeted sort of way.
That's awesome. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, friend. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. And resources as well, like if there's things that we can do or create or spread to help kind of spread the word as well, please let us know. And also, I wanted to share too, I don't know why this is coming up right now, but so Rich, you mentioned the video that Rich did on the impact of loving kindness practice that's on the Practice Kindness website. if any of you also feel like you want to share the impact of loving kindness or the practice and how it's shaped you or how you've seen it in the classroom as well, we would love to just really share the impact of the work and share and spotlight you throughout the campaign as well. So yeah. Any other thoughts or ideas about sharing loving kindness? All right, I'm going to keep us moving. So in terms of how, so there's a couple of different phases that we have. So phase one is really just about securing the location and building the foundation. So over the next couple weeks, and this is all in the host toolkit, so you've got it there. And if there's things that you're needing and wanting afterwards, please reach out. We're here. So let us know, yeah, how we can support. And yeah, so securing the venue, making sure that you've got a space for it, or if you're doing it online, kind of securing that online space as well. And identifying your target audience, which it sounds like a lot of you already have. So it sounds like you've already got your kind of phase two identification, and now it's more about the outreach and sharing. And you can create your own video testimonial if you'd like as well. And then phase three, which is just about a week before the event, is sending out a reminder email to confirmed attendees and just checking your venue to make sure that all your supplies are ready. If you're doing live stream or virtual, making sure that your live stream, maybe doing a test of that a week before, can be really helpful too. And then phase four, the day of event, which is November 13th. So joining either the live stream, or it sounds like everybody on this call is hosting their own event, which is great. So yeah, feeling really excited, feeling the buzz of the group. And I'm also loving, just Martha, what you shared about extending it forward and sharing it with other people as well. Yeah, it feels really special. So feeling excited about that.
One short question: Will the event you host be shared afterwards?
Say that again.
Will the event you host be shared afterwards by video?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, so we'll do a recording of the live stream, and then we'll be able to share that out afterwards as well. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Good question. And then spreading the word. So as we mentioned, you can do a testimonial. We have a couple on the website that are great. Tashi from Bhutan has this great example of how, she was, she talks about how she was practicing with someone that she works with, and she had all these judgments about this person, why is he this way? And then in the practice of loving kindness, realized, oh, this person, just like me, and really started to expand that compassion for that other person. And Lisa Reyes from San Francisco Department of Public Health also has a great example. And then Rich as well, talking about kind of just just an example that he had while teaching around just some identity and racial bias that came up, and seeing the connection of just like me and the impact of that practice too. So there's great examples, and we would love to hear and share your examples and just spread as much as possible.
April?
Yeah.
One question I have for you is that if I'm gonna confirm some details internally, but I'm happy to. I'm sure a lot of us here would be happy to provide more kind of a testimonial kind of thing, so that you can also advertise it if you want, as you spread the words around this. So if you want something like that, we can take this offline, but yeah, I'm happy to help as well. As in, this is what we're doing at Facebook, for example. Yeah.
Thank you, friend. Yes. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll send to this group afterwards. There's a short document that has, if you want to create a testimonial, there's no pressure to, and if you're feeling like that's something that you want to offer, it has instructions to do so, and just we can connect about that also. So thank you, Miru. Yeah. All right, so providing a testimonial, making a pledge, so pledging an act of kindness. So this is really to kind of get the buzz going and to spread the word, kind of spread the word in a more kind of, I guess, inviting more people to join in a more public way. So this would be pledging to do an act of kindness, sharing about your experience through social media, and then picking 3 friends to do the same. So Carolina and I on our marketing team, we came up with something just, it's kind of silly, but it's I PK'd you, like practice kindness, I picked you. So it's kind of like, if you think of like the ice bucket challenge and how fast that spread kind of through social media, we would love to just like be able to spread kindness and generosity and acts of kindness and compassion, and be able to invite people to practice together. So as much as we can do to spread the word is great. And what that would look like, for an example, is, maybe you post on Twitter or on Instagram or on Facebook or wherever you do your posting. For World Kindness Day, I practice to #practice kindness by offering to, and then whatever it is that you really feel moved and inspired to do as an act of kindness. And I'd like to challenge, and then you pick 3 friends, tag them to share your pledge for #practice kindness. So that's an option for you. You don't have to do it if you're not a social media person, or you're like, this feels funny, you can totally leave it. And if it feels inspiring to be able to spread compassion and kindness in that way, please join us in doing that. So those are a couple different options. So making a pledge and then sharing on social media. So yeah, there's so many beautiful examples of ways that people have practiced kindness or done random acts of kindness for other people, and just how it's inspired and spread to other people. I mean, the kidney example was one. I was connecting with a friend last week about toll, like going through the tolls. Like I crossed the Golden Gate Bridge on the way to work. So paying it forward of paying someone else's toll for someone behind me. And just, she was sharing an example of how doing that had created this spread of kindness in her life and with some friends that she had. So wanted to share that no act is too small. Little things make a huge difference in people's days. And you all know that, because you do that work. And then lastly, this is the website. So we have practicekindness.world, really in accessibility and practice, wanting to be able to share with as many people as possible. And this is going to be our hub for resources. So as we have testimonials that come in, as we have examples of the impact of kindness and how it's spread, we want to create this hub for people to be able to go to and to be able to access kindness as well. So it's not just like, oh, we're sharing all of these things about kindness, but it's really a place where people can come back to and be inspired by the kindness that's on the page too. So wanting to offer that. Yeah, Shalene.
Could we then just put the list of all the different events on this website page?
Yes, absolutely. Great idea.
Yeah, and I could definitely help create a poster or something to go there, if that's any help. Well, we can talk about that.
That would be amazing. Oh, thank you. Yes. Yeah. Maybe you, Carolina, and I can connect and work together on that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So good. All right. Well, I just want to open up space. We've got a few minutes left, and just see if there's any questions. Lori, I don't know why you popped on the screen right now, but I was just looking at you, so I didn't know if there was anything you wanted to share. And no pressure.
Excuse me. No, I'm sorry to be late. This is so fantastic. And I'm wondering if actually I can have a quick conversation with you after Avery, just to kind of get up to speed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right, friends. Any other questions or ideas or anything that anyone else wants to share in terms of offering our practices?
I mean, I do have questions, but I was late, so I'm not sure if this is like gonna repeat things. So,
Yeah.
like when you say share our practices, are there other like non-silly program kindness practices that are sanctioned, that are okay? Like I just want to know, like from a branding kind of alignment perspective, can we be kind in other ways other than what Billy says? Billy, the boss of kindness.
Oh, Lori. Oh my gosh. Such a good question. Yeah. So there's I'll share more about this in a bit, but so for the day of the we've got kind of a agenda that models very similar to the 2-day program. So very similar in structure and flow of Just Like Me practice.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I can share more about what that looks like, but it's basically the agenda for the day is like coming together and kind of having everybody connect and be able to do a dyad and just like we do in the 2-day program, and then to be able to go into a Just Like Me practice or a loving kindness practice together, and then be able to journal and share and yeah, be able to connect more.
Okay, I'll check in with you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds good. That's good. Great. All right, friends. Well, maybe we could just end by taking a few breaths together or sitting for a moment together. So maybe feeling our feet on the ground, gently closing our eyes or looking down. And just following our breath. Maybe bringing to mind a person or a couple people on this call that you really appreciate, that you want to offer some loving kindness to. And then maybe taking another breath in. Just expanding that loving kindness to this entire group. And taking one last breath in. And expanding that loving kindness out further beyond into our larger community, friends, family, loved ones. And taking one last breath in together. And then when you hear the sound of the bell, opening your eyes. Thank you all. Wishing you a great rest of your day. Bye, friends.
Thank you. Can I just say you're the perfect person, something like this. You were just so joyful. Thank you.
Thank you. Sending it back. Thank you. Receiving and sending it back. Thank you. Thank you, friends. Wish you well.
Thank you.
Bye.
Avery? Avery? Hi. Can you stay on for like 1 second?
Yeah, can I call you back real quick?
I have a client at 9, but what's your schedule like this morning? Because I would love to connect around this just before I do the podcast.